What if I told you the red pill right now? KRool is making mechanical bodies and is harvesting the brains of Kremlings who are no longer loyal to him to make an army of mindless, cyborg, killing machines. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Morton Theory. I am no stranger to outlandish evidence, as I've created the Diddy is depressed theory. But I'm not lying. I was quite the skeptical theorist when I dove into the DK lore to analyze this insane cyborg conspiracy. I didn't believe it at first, but as I began researching, I saw the horrifying truth behind KRool's actions, and I discovered that any past theories pale in comparison to the consequences of the Robokremlings. So tell me my wife is dying of sadness, call me more machine than man, and let's get into this. What is a cyborg? A cybernetic organism is a living thing whose body contains mechanical or electrical devices and whose abilities are greater than the abilities of pure organic beings. Let's take our analytical eye to Donkey Kong 64, a 3D platformer for the Nintendo 64. This game features critters, the main Kremling enemy class, like the country games, but they are weak and die in one hit. In this same game, Robokremlings appear as mechanical versions of the critters, with menacing red eyes and an outer shell of pure metal armor. They're a spooky sight for the Kongs, primarily because they are semi-invulnerable. Unlike their organic counterparts, these metal monsters are capable of withstanding a pounding from Donkey Kong. Normal attacks don't even dent their cold, emotionless bodies. Only powerful attacks like an orange grenade explosion or Chunky Kong's primate punch can kill these foes. This difference in defense and ability speaks to the power of machines over organisms in KRool's military. But Morton, they're robots, not cyborgs. You just spoke to the power of robots. We already knew that they were strong. But wait, there's more. As aforementioned, it is possible to kill Robokremlings. It is here where we see they drop 2 melon slices. Now, dear viewers, let's take a fruity tangent on the topic of healing item lore. I promise this will be quick and not too seedy or misleading. You would think that in a game where you play as monkeys, bananas would be the measurement of healing your character and thus restoring their life as an organic being. But no, watermelons are used. In DK64, watermelons are a metaphor for life. Organic foes drop their life force when killed, allowing the Kongs to replenish their own life with the metaphorical blood of their enemies. A robot has no reason for dropping the same life force as a normal critter. Not just the same life force, but more of it. I declare that there is a Kremling brain inside the Robokremlings. I can already see you typing in the comments, but Morton, that's impossible. Don't click off now, because here's where it gets juicier than a watermelon. It's here where I reveal the mountain of evidence piling up against KRool for how and why he would create cyborg Kremlings. Chronologically, we need to think about where DK64 fits in on the timeline. It takes place after the events of the country games, taking place after Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. I'm going to be dramatically pulling back the curtain on the cyborg uprising, but the truth is that it was in front of us all along. In DKC3, the Kongs and the viewer are to assume that Chaos, a robot, is the leader of the leftover Kremlings from the first 2 games, a faction known as the Kremling Creeps. But at the end of the game, we learn that Baron KRool's new alter ego, is a mad scientist, built the robot as a facade, and was the real leader all along. But this shows us so much evidence against him. Not only was he smart enough to build a robot to rule his faction, but he was content with the robot being the face of it while he hid in the background. Okay, Morton, he can build robots. This has nothing to do with cyborgs. Okay, my uneducated DK fan in the comments, let me remind you of the end of DKC3 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. KRool didn't just capture DK and Diddy for the fun of it. He kidnapped them and put them inside of his world domination super robot, as the robot needed a brain. KRool literally harnessed the cerebral energy of Donkey and Diddy Kong. Chaos is literally a cyborg. If his machines can make a hero like Donkey Kong do his bidding for world domination, then who is to question the very fact that KRool's robotic bodies could easily house the brains of his living or dead Kremling followers? KRool not only has a history with cyborgs, but he has further reason to use them in DK64 if you look at the plot. The Country series is not a comedy for KRool. It's a tragedy. He starts off as a king, but through his failures against Donkey Kong, he is lowered in status. In DKC2, he's a pirate captain instead of true royalty. I argue that it's not just a new identity he wants to take on, but a consequence of his failure and the reactionary socio-political climate of the Kremling crew. After DKC2, KRool is a complete outcast. Not only has he failed his people twice in their war against the Kongs, but he got his homeland, Crocodile Isle, destroyed. Less and less Kremlings respect KRool as the series go on, to the point where in 3 he is physically outcasted from their group. He moves to a remote part of the DK world, hiding away in a castle, planning his revenge, not just on Donkey Kong, but on his own people who abandoned him as their leader. He quite literally goes insane and is unable to lead directly. He leads through a robot facade and experiments with cerebral energy harnessing. This is where we get to DK64. KRool returns for his revenge on DK, the one who humiliated him in front of his people. He has the Kremlings, who were still loyal to him in DKC3, but he also has a new group of underlings, the Robokremlings. These cyborg crocodiles were the ones who previously lost faith in him as their leader. They were the critters who survived DKC1 and DKC2, and they walked away at bad leadership. This is where the dark evidence culminates. I argue that KRool systematically found and removed the brains of his former employees, putting them into robot shells to make them fully subservient to him. Not only would he have unquestioning loyalty from the robot cyborgs, but they would be stronger than if they were organic. They could not fail him. It's not even far-fetched to suggest that this theme of cyborg revolution was intended by the developers. KRool breathes similarly to Darth Vader in 64's cutscenes, a pop culture character famous for being more machine than man. And because I have evidence from the Mario sports games, there are robo-kritters and Super Mario Strikers, these being an updated version or robot model of what we see as the Cyborg in 64. Showing that KRool's work is far from done and he is still continuing it. I think we know the natural progression now. If and when KRool returns, he and his followers will be technologically enhanced cyborgs that are nearly impossible for DK to beat. The industrialized nature of Kremling society and the insane experiments of KRool are far from over. I swear it. Terminator KRool may very well be his next appearance in the Country series. But that's only a theory, a Morton theory. Thanks for watching.